The red warning lights flashed across the bridge of the USS Defiant as Commander Jake Morrison stared at the message on his screen. The words made his blood run cold. Kepler Colony was under attack. 2 million people lived on that world, and now they were screaming for help. How long until we reach them? Jake asked his navigator, Lieutenant Sam Brooks. 18 hours at maximum speed, sir, Sam replied, his voice tight with worry. Jake closed his eyes for a moment. 18 hours might as well be 18 years. The Velkari didn't take prisoners. They didn't negotiate. They just consumed everything in their path, like a plague of giant insects. Chief Engineer Lisa Parker looked up from her console. Sir, if we push the engines past their limits, we might get there in 14 hours. But we risk burning out the quantum drive. Do it, Jake ordered without hesitation. Better to arrive with a damaged ship than not arrive at all. The Defiant shuddered as Lisa pushed more power through the engines. The ship was humanity's newest warship, built in secret while the rest of the galaxy burned. It carried weapons that no alien species had ever seen before. Jake just hoped they would be. ENOUGH Dr. Amy Foster entered the bridge, her medical uniform stained with coffee. She had been working for 3 days straight, preparing for casualties. Jake, I need to know what we're walking into. How many Velkari ships are we facing? The last message from Kepler mentioned at least 12 bioships, Jake said. But that was 6 hours ago. There could be more by now. Amy's face went pale. Most alien fleets had been destroyed by single Velkari bioships. 12 was a death sentence. The Velkari had appeared in the galaxy 20 years ago. No one knew where they came from. They just arrived in massive organic ships that looked like giant insects. These ships didn't just attack planets. They ate them. They would land on a world and begin consuming everything. Plants, animals, people, even the soil itself. Within weeks, a green world would become a dead rock dot at first. The Galactic Council tried to negotiate. They sent ambassadors with offers of trade and friendship. The Velkari ate the ambassadors. Then they ate the planets the ambassadors came from. The Council tried to fight back. They gathered fleets from dozens of worlds. The Velkari consumed those too. The organic ships seemed to learn from each battle, becoming stronger and more. Deadly. One by one, the great civilizations fell. The crystal cities of Andromeda Prime were devoured in a single day. The floating gardens of Zephyr lasted only 3 hours. The mighty fleet of the Centauri Republic was destroyed without sinking a single bio-ship. Now, only scattered colonies remained, hiding in the dark corners of space. They sent desperate messages to each other, sharing rumors of safe places and warnings about Velkari movements. Most of these messages were lies or wishful thinking. There were no safe places anymore. Humanity had watched all of this from the edge of the galaxy. Earth's leaders decided to stay hidden and quiet. They built secret bases on empty worlds and developed new weapons in underground labs. The Defiant was the first ship to carry these weapons into battle. Sir, we're getting more signals from Kepler. Sam reported, They're bad. Jake walked over to the communications station. The voices coming through the speakers were filled with terror. People were screaming about giant insects in the sky. Others begged for evacuation ships that would never come. The northern continent is gone. A voice crackled through the static. The bioships just ... they just ate it. The whole continent disappeared in 4 hours. Another voice broke through. This is Captain Diana Wells of the Colonial Defense Force. We're falling back to the southern cities. If anyone can hear this, we need help now. The Velkari are landing ground forces. They're not just consuming the planet from orbit. They're coming down to hunt us. Jake's hands clenched into fists. The Velkari usually just consumed planets from space. If they were sending ground forces, it meant they wanted to savor the hunt. They wanted to terrorize their prey before eating them. How much longer? Jake asked. 12 hours, Lisa called out. But sir, I'm reading some strange energy patterns. From the quantum weapons. They're reacting to something. Jake walked to the weapons console. The quantum torpedoes were glowing with a soft blue light. The energy readings were off the charts. What does it mean? I don't know, Lisa admitted. We've never tested these weapons in real combat. The energy might be building up because we're getting close to the Valkyrie bioships. The Defiance. Quantum weapons were humanity's greatest secret. They had been developed by studying alien technology recovered from destroyed worlds. The weapons created tiny tears in space itself, releasing pure energy that could destroy almost anything docked. At least, that's what the scientists claimed. Jake had never seen them used in battle. Sir, Sam called out, we're getting a live transmission. From Kepler. It's Captain Wells. The main screen flickered to life. A woman in a torn military uniform appeared. Behind her, the sky was filled with smoke and fire. This is Captain Diana Wells. If anyone receives this message, stay away from. Kepler. The Valkyrie have 17 bioships in orbit. They're landing thousands of ground troops. We estimate 6 hours before the planet is completely consumed. Jake stepped forward. Captain Wells, this is Commander Jake Morrison of the USS Defiant. We're 12 hours out. Can you hold that long? Diana's eyes widened with surprise and hope. A human ship? How many vessels are with you? Just one, Jake said quietly. The hope in Diana's eyes flickered. Commander, with respect, one ship against 17 bioships is suicide. You should turn back and warn Earth. Not happening, Jake said firmly. We're coming to get you and as many people as we can save. Diana stared at him through the screen. Around her, explosions lit up the sky. Then God help us all. The transmission. Cut out. Jake stood in the silence of the bridge, knowing that in 12 hours, he would either save 2 million people or die trying. There was no middle ground with the Valkyrie. They didn't understand mercy or surrender, but humanity had something. The Valkyrie had never faced before, the refusal to give up, even when facing impossible odds. The Defiant dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Kepler system. What Jake Morrison saw on the main screen made his stomach turn. The planet that had once been green and blue was now mostly brown and black. Huge chunks of the continents were simply gone, leaving gaping holes in the planet's surface. My God, whispered Dr. Amy Foster. They're eating it alive. 17 massive bioships hung in orbit around Kepler like giant vultures. Each one was over 2 miles long and shaped like a twisted insect. Their surfaces pulsed with organic ridges and glowing veins. Smaller ships moved between them like flying beetles, carrying loads of organic matter up from the planet's surface. Sir, I'm reading massive energy signatures from those bioships, reported Ryan Blake, the ship's tactical officer. Their hulls are some kind of living armor. It's constantly adapting and changing. Jake watched in horror as one of the bioships extended, a long tentacle down to the planet's surface. The tentacle, easily 50 miles long, began sucking up an entire mountain range. Trees, rocks, and soil disappeared into the creature's mouth like water going down a drain. How many people are still alive down there? Jake asked. Sam Brooks worked frantically at his communications console. I'm picking up scattered signals from the southern continent. Maybe 50,000 people in hiding. The rest. He didn't need to finish. Can you raise Captain Wells? I'm trying, sir. Wait, ... I've got something. Sam's face brightened. Captain Wells, this is the USS Defiant. Do you copy? The main screen flickered, showing Diana Wells in what looked like an underground bunker. Her uniform was torn and dirty, and she had a bandage over her left eye. "Commander Morrison, thank God you're here. But you need to leave immediately. We've studied these creatures for 8 hours. Their ships are alive. They heal damage faster than we can cause it. What's your situation, Captain?" "We have 43,000 civilians in underground shelters across the southern continent. But the Velkari are sending ground forces to hunt us down. These aren't just insects, Commander. They're intelligent. They're enjoying this." Jake's jaw tightened. "We're coming to get you. What's the best extraction point?" "The capital city spaceport is still partially intact." "But Commander, you don't understand? These creatures don't just kill. They consume. They're harvesting people to feed their ships. The bioships are growing larger every hour." Lisa Parker looked up from her engineering station. "Sir, the quantum weapons are showing even stronger readings now. The energy buildup is incredible. Will they work against organic targets? I don't know. We designed them to fight metal ships, not living creatures." Jake made his decision. "We're going in. All hands, prepare for combat. This is what we trained." 4. The Defiant moved toward the planet, trying to avoid the attention of the bioships. But the creatures were too smart. 3 of them immediately changed course to intercept the human vessel. "Sir, the bioships are moving to surround us." Ryan reported. "They're not attacking yet. It's like they're curious about us." "Maybe they've never seen a human ship before," Amy suggested. The largest bioship, easily 3 times the size of the Defiant, moved directly in front of them. Its surface was covered in thousands of eyes, all turning to stare at the human vessel. Then it spoke. The voice came through the ship's speakers, a horrible mixture of buzzing and clicking sounds that somehow formed words. "New species, small ship, primitive technology. You will be consumed. Your world will be located. Your people will feed our growth." Jake stepped forward. "This is Commander Jake Morrison of the human vessel Defiant. Leave this system immediately, or face the consequences." The bioship's laughter sounded like 1,000 insects screaming. "Small creature makes threats. Amusing. You will be consumed slowly. We will taste your fear. Ryan, target the lead bioship. Prepare quantum torpedoes." "Sir, we only have 12 quantum torpedoes. Against 17 bio-ships, ... Just do it." The Defiant's weapon systems came online. The quantum torpedoes glowed brighter than ever before, pulsing with blue energy. The bioships seemed to sense the danger. They began moving in a coordinated pattern, like a pack of wolves surrounding their prey. "Fire," Jake ordered. 2 quantum torpedoes streaked toward the lead bioship. The creature's surface rippled, trying to adapt to the incoming weapons. But the torpedoes tore through its defenses like paper. The quantum energy created a massive explosion that lit up the entire system. When the light faded, the bioship was gone, completely gone. Not destroyed, not damaged, but simply erased from existence. The remaining bioships stopped moving. Their coordinated attack pattern broke apart. For the first time in their existence, they had encountered something that could truly hurt them. "Sir, I'm reading massive confusion in their formation," Ryan reported. "It's like they don't know what to do. They're used to easy prey," Jake said grimly. "Fire again." 2 more quantum torpedoes found their targets. 2 more bioships vanished into nothingness. The remaining creatures began retreating, moving away from the planet. "They're running," Amy said with amazement. "The Velkari are actually running." But Jake knew better. He had studied every report about the Velkari. They didn't run. They regrouped. "Sam, get me Captain Wells. We need to evacuate those people now." Diana's face appeared on the screen. She looked stunned. "Commander, what did you do? The bioships are pulling back." "We hurt them. but they'll be back with reinforcements. How fast can you get your people to the spaceport? 6 hours for the nearest groups. 12 hours for the ones in the deep shelters. Jake looked at his tactical display. More bioships were already entering the system. Dozens of them. The Velkari were calling for help. We don't have 12 hours. Get as many people as you can to the spaceport in 6 hours. We'll hold them off as long as possible. The next 6 hours were the longest of Jake's life. The Defiant fought a running battle against increasing numbers of bioships. The quantum weapons were devastatingly effective, but the ship only carried 12 torpedoes. After using 8 of them, Jake had to resort to conventional weapons. The bioships adapted quickly. They began attacking in waves, forcing the Defiant to split its fire. Their organic hulls learned to resist the ship's energy weapons. What had been effective in the first battle became useless after an hour. "Sir, we're down to our last 4 quantum torpedoes," Ryan reported. "And I'm reading. Over 40 bioships in the system now." Jake watched the tactical display with growing desperation. More bioships were arriving every minute. Soon there would be too many to fight. "Captain Wells, what's your status?" "We have 37,000 people at the spaceport. The rest are still in the shelters. Commander, you need to go. Save the ones you can." Jake stared at the screen, knowing that leaving meant condemning thousands of people to death. But staying meant losing everyone, including his own crew. "Lisa, how many people can we fit in the cargo bays?" "Maybe 5,000 if we pack them in tight." Jake closed his eyes. 37,000 people. 5,000 spaces. The mathematics of survival were cruel. "Captain Wells, we can only take 5,000. Choose the youngest and strongest. They'll need to rebuild." Diana's face crumpled. "Commander, how can I choose who lives and who dies?" "Because someone has to. And because the ones we save will remember what happened here. They'll make sure humanity never forgets." The evacuation took 3 hours. Jake watched the bioships gathering in the distance, waiting for the right moment to strike. They seemed to understand that the humans were trying to save people. They were letting it happen, enjoying the agony of impossible choices. When the last shuttle docked with the Defiant, Jake gave the order to retreat. The ship jumped to faster-than-light speed just as the bioships began their final assault on the planet. On the main screen, Jake watched Kepler Colony die. The planet cracked open like an egg as the bioships consumed its core. 2 million people had lived there that morning. Now only 5,000 remained. Dr. Amy Foster was in the cargo bay, treating the refugees. Many of them were in shock, unable to process what they had seen. Others wept quietly for the families they had left behind. Jake found Captain Diana Wells sitting alone in a corner of the cargo bay. She was staring at nothing, her hands shaking. "Captain," Jake said quietly. She looked up at him with empty eyes. "I left 32,000 people behind." 32,000. You saved 5,000. Without you, everyone would have died. Diana shook her head. "They're still dying. The bioships are hunting down the remaining shelters. I can hear their screams in my mind." Jake knelt beside her. "Then we make sure their deaths mean something. We go back to Earth, and we prepare for war. Real war. Not just rescue missions." Diana looked at him with the first spark of hope he had seen in her eyes. "You think humanity can win?" Jake thought about the quantum weapons, about the bioships retreating in confusion, about the look of surprise on the Velkari's faces when their ships simply vanished. "Yes," he said firmly, "we can win. We just have to be willing to pay the price." Admiral Kevin Turner watched the recordings from the Defiant's battle at Kepler Colony for the 5th time. Each viewing made him more convinced that humanity was facing a threat unlike anything in galactic history. The bioships didn't just destroy civilizations. They consumed them completely, leaving nothing behind but empty space. Play the section where the quantum torpedoes hit again, he ordered. The holographic display showed the moment when the Defiance weapons struck the lead bioship. The creature simply vanished, erased from existence in a flash of blue light. Around the conference table, Earth's military leaders leaned forward to study every detail. "How many quantum torpedoes do we have in total?" asked General Patricia. Stone, head of Earth's ground forces. Colonel Maria Santos, the intelligence chief, consulted her tablet. 423, sir. But that's our entire stockpile. It took us 15 years to build that many. Admiral Turner felt his stomach drop. 400 torpedoes against thousands of bioships. The numbers are not encouraging. What about production capacity? He asked. The weapons require rare elements that we can only mine from 3 asteroids in the outer system, Maria replied. At maximum production, we could build maybe 50 torpedoes per month if we had a year. We don't have a year, Turner interrupted. Show them the latest intelligence. The holographic display changed to show a star map of the galaxy. Red dots marked known Velkari positions. There were hundreds of them, and they were moving steadily toward the center of the galaxy, toward Earth. Based on their current expansion rate, the Velkari will reach human space in 8 months. Maria explained. And that's if they maintain their current pace. If they accelerate their advance, ... 4 months, Turner finished. Maybe less. The room fell silent. Everyone understood what that meant. Humanity had spent 20 years watching the galaxy burn while staying hidden. Now the fire was coming for them. Commander Jake Morrison entered the conference room, still wearing his battle-damaged uniform. He had arrived on Earth just 6 hours ago with the Kepler refugees. His face was drawn with exhaustion and grief. "Commander," Admiral Turner said, "thank you for joining us. We need to understand exactly what happened out there." Jake took a seat at the table. The Velkari are not just mindless destroyers. They're intelligent. They enjoy causing suffering. And they're learning from every encounter. "What do you mean?" asked General Stone. "Their bioships adapted to our conventional weapons within minutes. By the end of the battle, our energy cannons were useless. Only the quantum torpedoes could hurt them." Dr. Nathan Clark, Earth's leading expert on alien biology, leaned forward. "Did you observe any weaknesses in their design?" Jake nodded. Dr. Foster noticed something interesting. The bioships seemed to share information instantly. When one ship adapted to our weapons, all the others adapted at the same time. It's like they have a shared mind. "A hive mind," Dr. Clark said thoughtfully. "That could be both a strength and a weakness." "How so?" Turner asked. "If they share information instantly, they can coordinate perfectly. But if we could disrupt their communication somehow ... they might become confused and disorganized," Jake finished. "Like cutting the head off a snake." Maria Santos pulled up another display. "We've been monitoring Velkari communications for years. They use some kind of quantum entanglement network. Every bioship is connected to every other bioship. No matter how far apart they are. Can we disrupt it?" Turner asked. "Maybe. Our quantum torpedo technology might be able to interfere with their network. But we'd need to test it first." Jake looked around the table. "What about the other species? The aliens who are still fighting the Velkari. Can we work with them?" "We've tried," Maria said sadly. "Most of them are too scattered and desperate to coordinate. The few organized groups left don't trust each other. They certainly don't trust us." General Stone spoke up. "What about a preemptive strike? We could take our fleet and attack the Velkari before they reach Earth." "With what fleet?" Turner asked. "We have 12 ships equipped with quantum weapons. The Velkari have thousands of bioships. Then we build more ships, Stone replied. Convert every shipyard, every factory. This is about human survival. Jake shook his head. You don't understand. The Velkari don't just destroy military targets. They consume everything. Every person, every animal, every plant. They turn entire worlds into fuel for their ships. If we lose, there won't be a second chance. The weight of that statement settled over the room. This wasn't a war where defeat meant occupation or surrender. It was a war where defeat meant extinction. We need more time, Dr. Clark said. Time to study their biology, to find weaknesses, to develop countermeasures. We don't have time, Turner replied, so we'll have to make do with what we have. He stood up and activated the room's main display. It showed the locations of all human colonies and military bases. Dozens of worlds, hundreds of millions of people, all depending on the decisions made in this room. Here's what we're going to do, Turner announced. We're going to mobilize every resource humanity has. Every ship, every weapon, every person capable of fighting. We're going to meet the Velkari as far from Earth as possible. Sir, Jake said carefully, that's basically suicide. Maybe, but it's better than letting them reach Earth unopposed. At least this way, we might learn something useful before we die. Colonel Santos raised her hand. Sir, I have a proposal. What if we don't fight them directly? What if we use guerrilla tactics? Explain. The Velkari are used to facing conventional fleets. They expect their enemies to meet them in open battle. But what if we hit them when they're not expecting it? Strike their support ships, their supply lines, their communications. Jake nodded slowly. It could work. The bioships are powerful, but they need to feed constantly. If we could cut off their food supply, they'd have to spend more time hunting for resources instead of expanding their territory, Turner finished. It might slow them down enough to give us time to develop better weapons. Dr. Clark looked excited. And if we could capture some of their technology, we might be able to reverse engineer it. Find out how their hive mind works, how their bioships adapt. It's still incredibly dangerous, General Stone pointed out. We'd be sending small ships against massive fleets. All war is dangerous, Turner replied. The question is whether we want to choose our battles or let the enemy choose them for us. Jake stood up. Sir, I volunteer to lead the first strike mission. The Defiant proved that our quantum weapons can hurt them. If we can modify the ship for hit-and-run tactics. Absolutely not, Turner said firmly. You're too valuable. We need you to train other commanders, to share your experience. With respect, sir. Experience is only useful if you survive to use it. And right now, I'm the only human who's fought the Velkari and lived to tell about it. Turner stared at Jake for a long moment. Finally, he nodded. Very well, but you won't be going alone. We're going to give you a squadron of our best ships and crews. How many ships are we talking about? Jake asked. 12. All equipped with quantum weapons. It's not much, but it's what we have. Jake thought about the 17 bioships he had faced at Kepler Colony. 12 ships against thousands of bioships. The odds were impossible, but humanity had faced impossible odds before. They had survived ice ages, plagues, wars, and disasters that should have wiped them out. They had always found a way to keep going, to keep fighting, to keep hoping. When do we leave? Jake asked. Turner smiled grimly. As soon as the ships are ready. We're going to show the Velkari that humanity doesn't go quietly into the night. The meeting continued for 3 more hours, working out the details of humanity's desperate plan. They would split their forces into small squadrons, each targeting different parts of the Velkari fleet. Some would attack supply lines, others would hit communication nodes, and a few would attempt to capture bioship technology. It was a plan, born of desperation and hope in equal measure. But it was better than waiting for the end. As the meeting broke up, Jake found himself standing with Dr. Foster, who had been listening from the back of the room. "Amy," he said quietly, "you don't have to come with us. You could stay on Earth, help with the medical preparations." She shook her head. "Those people we saved from Kepler Colony, they're going to need ongoing care. And if we're going to fight the Velkari, we'll need someone who understands their biology. It's going to be dangerous." "Everything's dangerous now," she replied. "At least this way, we're fighting back." Jake nodded. She was right. For 20 years, humanity had hidden while the galaxy burned. Now it was time to fight back, no matter what the cost. The galaxy had burned at the Velkari's hands. But they had never faced humanity before, and humans had a reputation for being very hard to kill. The Proxima sector had been peaceful for over a century. 3 star systems with beautiful worlds, home to billions of innocent people. Now it was about to become the largest battlefield in galactic history. Commander Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the USS Defiant, watching the tactical display with growing horror. The Velkari had arrived in the sector with over 300 bioships. They were attacking all 3 star systems at once, consuming everything in their path. "Sir, we're getting distress calls from Proxima Alpha," reported Sam Brooks. "The planetary defense grid is down. The bioships are landing ground forces." Jake turned to his communications officer. "What about the other human squadrons?" "Captain Helen Ross and the Vengeance are engaging bioships at Proxima Beta. Captain Paul Mitchell and the Retribution are defending Proxima Gamma. Both report heavy fighting." The human fleet had arrived just in time. 12 ships against 300 bioships. The odds were insane, but they were the only hope for the 15 billion people living in the Proxima sector. "Lisa, status on the quantum weapons?" Jake asked. Chief Engineer Lisa Parker looked up from her console. "All systems ready, sir, but we've only got 8 torpedoes left. We need to make each shot count." Dr. Amy Foster had been studying the bioship formations for the past hour. "Jake, I think I see a pattern. The bioships aren't just attacking randomly. They're coordinating their assault through those larger ships in the center of each fleet." "Command ships?" Jake asked. "More than that. I think they're like the brain of the operation. If we could take out those central ships, the others might lose coordination." Jake studied the tactical display. Amy was right. Each group of bioships had a massive central vessel that was directing the attack. These ships were 3 times larger than the others, covered in glowing neural networks that pulsed with energy. "Ryan, can you identify the command ships?" Jake asked his tactical officer. "Already on it, sir. I count 9 command ships total, 3 for each star system." "Then we make sure it counts," Jake replied. "Amy, what do you need to disrupt their network?" Dr. Foster worked frantically at her console. "I need to modify the quantum torpedo guidance systems to emit a specific frequency. If I can match the wavelength of their hive mind communication... How long? 20 minutes? Maybe less." Jake looked at the tactical display. The remaining bioships were regrouping, learning from their losses. Soon they would adapt to the loss of their command ships and resume their attacks. "Sam, contact all human ships. Tell them to form a defensive perimeter around the Defiant. We need 20 minutes." The next 20 minutes were the longest of Jake's life. The human ships fought desperately to protect the Defiant, while Amy worked to modify the quantum systems. Ship after ship reported damage, casualties, dwindling. "Ammunition." "Sir, the Washington is down to emergency power," Sam reported. "The Denver has lost all weapons. The Phoenix is requesting permission to withdraw." "Denied," Jake said firmly. We hold the line. Captain Helen Ross's voice crackled over the radio. Jake, we can't hold them much longer. These bioships are adapting faster than we can hurt them. Jake watched as the Vengeance limped away from a pack of bioships, its hull glowing red-hot from energy weapon hits. Helen was right. The conventional weapons were becoming useless as the bioships adapted to each attack. Amy, how much longer? Almost done. Just need to calibrate the frequency dot. Got it. The Defiance quantum core began to pulse with a strange rhythm. The energy readings went off the charts as the modified systems prepared to send a pulse across the entire star system. All ships fall back to minimum safe distance, Jake ordered. This is going to be big. The human ships retreated as the Defiance core reached critical energy levels. Jake could feel the ship vibrating around him as barely controlled quantum forces built up inside the weapon systems. Sir, the core is approaching overload, Lisa warned. If this doesn't work, it will work, Jake said with more confidence. Then he felt, fire the pulse. The Defiant released a wave of quantum energy that spread across the entire Proxima sector. The pulse was invisible to normal sensors, but its effects were immediate and dramatic. Every bioship in the sector suddenly stopped moving. They hung motionless in space, their glowing neural networks flickering and going dark. The hive mind network that connected them had been severed. It worked, Amy said with amazement. The bioships are completely cut off from each other. Jake watched as the massive biofleet began to break apart. Without their shared intelligence, the individual ships became confused and disoriented. Some began attacking each other. Others simply drifted helplessly through space. All ships, this is Morrison. The bioships are vulnerable. Attack now while they're disconnected. The human fleet moved in for the kill. Quantum torpedoes and energy weapons tore through the disabled bioships. Without their adaptive armor and coordinated defenses, the Velkari vessels were surprisingly fragile. In just 2 hours, the human fleet destroyed over 200 bioships. The remaining vessels fled the system, their retreat as chaotic and disorganized as their attack had been coordinated. Jake stood on the bridge of the Defiant, watching the bioships disappear into faster-than-light travel. For the first time in 20 years, the Velkari had been defeated in open battle. Not just stopped, but completely rooted. Sir, Sam reported, we're getting messages from all 3 planets. The populations are safe. The bioships that landed on the surface are retreating back to their ships. Casualties? Jake asked, surprisingly light. Maybe a few 100,000 across all 3 worlds. It could have been millions. Jake nodded, but his victory felt hollow. Captain Mitchell and his crew were still dead. The retribution was gone. And this was just one battle in a war that would determine the fate of the galaxy. Amy, how long will the disruption last? Hard to say. The bioships will eventually adapt and restore their network. Maybe a few weeks, maybe a few months. Then, we need to use that time wisely. Sam, send a message to Admiral Turner. Tell him we've proven that the Velkari can be beaten, but we need more ships, more weapons, and more time. Captain Helen Ross's image appeared on the main screen. Her ship was damaged, but still functional. Jake, this changes everything. If we can disrupt their hive mind on a larger scale, we might be able to turn the tide of the war, Jake finished. But it's going to take everything humanity has to give. The Battle of Proxima Sector was over. Humanity had won its first major victory against the Velkari. But Jake knew this was just the beginning. The real war was still to come. The galaxy had burned at the Velkari's hands for 20 years. Now, for the first time, there was hope that the fire might finally be extinguished. That's our target. All ships. This is Commander Morrison. New priority targets: the large command ships coordinating each attack group. Take them out, and the others should lose coordination. The Defiant moved toward the nearest command ship. The massive biovessel was hovering over Proxima Alpha, directing dozens of smaller ships in their assault on the planet. Its surface was covered in thousands of glowing spots that pulsed like a heartbeat. "Sir, that thing is enormous," Ryan reported. "It's over 4 miles long and heavily armored. Then we hit it with everything we have. Prepare quantum torpedoes." The Defiant's weapons powered up, the blue glow of quantum energy filling the torpedo tubes. But as they approached the command ship, something unexpected happened. The bioship turned to face them directly. "It sees us," Amy said with surprise. "It's not just coordinating the others, it's intelligent." The command ship's voice filled the bridge, a horrible mixture of buzzing and clicking that somehow formed words. "Human vessel. You have caused damage to our collective. This will not be tolerated." "Tell it I said hello," Jake replied grimly. "Fire quantum torpedoes." 2 brilliant blue streaks shot toward the command ship. The biovessel's surface rippled, trying to adapt to the incoming weapons. But the quantum energy tore through its defenses like paper. The explosion was massive, lighting up the entire star system. When the light faded, the command ship was gone. And immediately, the other bioships in the area began acting strangely. They stopped their coordinated attack and began moving in random directions, as if they had lost their sense of purpose. "It worked," Amy exclaimed. "The smaller ships are confused without their command ship." Jake watched as the bioships began, attacking each other in their confusion. Without the central intelligence guiding them, they had reverted to basic instincts. "Sam, contact the other squadrons. Tell them to target the command ships first." "Yes, sir." "Captain Ross reports she's engaging a command ship at Proxima Beta now." On the tactical display, Jake watched as the Vengeance and 3 other human ships surrounded a massive bioship. Captain Helen Ross was an experienced commander, and she used her ships like a pack of wolves, attacking from different angles to confuse the enemy. The quantum torpedoes from 4 ships hit the command ship simultaneously. The explosion was even larger than the first one, sending shockwaves through space that damaged nearby bioships. 2 down, 7 to go, Jake said. "What's the status at Proxima Gamma?" Sam's face went pale. "Sir, Captain Mitchell is in trouble. The Retribution took heavy damage and is falling back. The command ship there is ... It's different." Jake looked at the tactical display. The bioship. 6 months after the Battle of Proxima Sector, Admiral Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the USS Defiant, staring at the tactical display that showed the final battle of the war. The Velkari fortress world of Carthil hung before them like a diseased eye, surrounded by the largest bioship fleet ever assembled. The cost of reaching this moment had been terrible. Earth's population had been mobilized for total war. Every factory, every shipyard, every resource had been devoted to building weapons and ships. Children learned to fire quantum rifles before they learned to read. Entire generations had grown up knowing only war. "Sir, final fleet count," reported Captain Sam Brooks, who had been promoted after the previous communications officer died at the Battle of Centauri. "We have 847 ships in the combined fleet. The Velkari have over 3,000 bioships defending Carthil." Jake nodded grimly. The numbers were still against them, but these weren't the same humans who had fled from Kepler Colony. These were veterans who had fought the Velkari across dozens of star systems. They had learned to think like their enemy, to anticipate their moves, to exploit their weaknesses. "Status on the alien fleets?" Jake asked. "The Centauri. Republic has provided 200 ships. The Andromeda survivors have 50 vessels. The Zephyr Resistance fleet numbers about 30 ships. It had taken months to convince the surviving alien species to join the fight. Most of them had been broken by 20 years of running and hiding. But the human victories had given them hope. For the first time since the war began, the Velkari were retreating instead of advancing. Dr. Amy Foster, now head of the Combined Fleet's Medical Corps, entered the bridge. She looked older than her 35 years, worn down by treating casualties from dozens of battles. Jake, the alien medical officers are reporting something strange. The bioships around Carthul are different from the ones we've fought before. Different how? They're bigger, more complex. It's like they've been evolving rapidly, incorporating technology from every species they've consumed. Some of them show characteristics of Centauri crystal armor. Others have Andromedan energy shields. Jake studied the tactical display more carefully. Amy was right. The bioships defending Carthul were unlike anything they had seen before. They were massive, easily 10 times the size of normal bioships, and their surfaces were covered in a mixture of organic and mechanical components. They're using the knowledge of every species they've destroyed, he realized. 20 years of conquest, and they've learned from everyone they've killed. Chief Engineer Lisa Parker, now Jake's wife and the fleet's chief technology officer, looked up from her console. Sir, I'm reading incredible energy signatures from the planet's surface. There's something down there that's generating power on a massive scale. The hive mind core, Amy said quietly. It has to be. The central intelligence that controls every bioship in the galaxy. Jake had suspected this for months. The Velkari weren't just a fleet of ships. They were a single organism spread across the galaxy, with Carthul as their brain. If they could destroy that brain, the entire species would die. All ships, this is Admiral Morrison. Today, we end this war. Our target is the planet's surface. We're going to destroy the Velkari's central intelligence, no matter what it costs. The combined fleet moved toward Carthul, the bioships defending. The planet immediately responded, forming a defensive wall that stretched across space. The largest of them, easily 20 miles long, moved to intercept the human fleet. Sir, the lead bioship is trying to communicate, Sam reported. Put it through. The voice that filled the bridge was different from the others they had heard. It was deeper, more complex, filled with the knowledge of 1,000 conquered species. Human Admiral, you have caused much damage to our collective. But this ends. Now you will be consumed, and your species will join the countless others who feed our growth. Jake stepped forward. This is Admiral Jake Morrison of the human fleet. You've had your turn. Now it's ours. The bioship's laughter was like the sound of dying worlds. Foolish creature, you understand nothing. We are eternal. We have consumed civilizations older than your entire species. Your weapons cannot harm. U.S. here. We'll see about that. All ships, attack formation Alpha. Target the defensive line. The battle that followed was unlike anything in galactic history. 800 human ships and nearly 300 alien vessels engaged 3,000 bioships in a fight that lit up the entire star system. Quantum torpedoes and energy weapons crossed space in streams of light, while bioships returned. Fire with weapons that seemed to bend reality itself. That Jake watched as ship after ship was destroyed on both sides. The USS Washington exploded in a ball of fire. The Centauri vessel Crystal Dawn was consumed by a bioship's energy beam. The human cruiser New York rammed a bioship twice its size, destroying both vessels. Sir, we're losing ships faster than... We can replace them, Sam reported. The bioships are adapting to our quantum weapons. Then we adapt faster, Jake replied. Lisa, can you modify the quantum frequency? I'm trying, but these bioships are different. They're learning faster than anything we've seen before. The battle raged for 12 hours. By the end, the human fleet had been reduced to 400 ships. The alien fleets had lost half their vessels, but they had broken through the defensive line. "Sir, we have a clear path to the planet," Sam reported. "But the surface is covered in defensive installations. Millions of them." Jake looked at the tactical display. Carthul's surface was a nightmare of organic and mechanical weapons. Biocannons the size of mountains, energy shields that covered entire continents, and swarms of smaller bioships that rose from the planet like angry insects. "All ships, prepare for surface bombardment. We're going to glass this planet." The combined fleet opened fire on Carthul. Quantum torpedoes rained down on the surface, creating massive explosions that could be seen from space. Energy beams carved deep trenches in the planet's crust. But the Velkari defenses were too strong. The weapons barely scratched the surface. "Sir, conventional bombardment isn't working," Lisa reported. "The planet's defenses are too strong." Jake made a decision that would haunt him for the rest of his life. "Prepare the Defiant for surface landing." "We're going down there." "Sir, that's suicide," Sam protested. "The surface defenses will tear us apart." "Maybe, but it's the only way to reach the hive mind core." The Defiant descended toward Carthul's surface, followed by 50 other ships. The planet's defenses opened fire immediately. Biocannons sent streams of energy that could destroy entire cities. The USS Phoenix was hit directly and vaporized. The alien cruiser Star Singer was torn apart by defensive missiles, but some ships made it through. The Defiant crash-landed on the planet's surface, its hull smoking and damaged. Jake led aground, forced toward the massive organic structure that housed the hive mind core. The journey across Carthul's surface was a nightmare. The planet itself was alive, with ground that shifted and moved beneath their feet. Organic weapons grew from the soil to attack the human soldiers. The air was filled with toxic gases that burned their lungs. "Sir, the structure is just ahead," Amy reported. She was with the ground force, studying the alien biology as they fought their way forward. The hive mind core was housed in a structure that defied description. It was part building, part organism, part machine. Towers of living. Flesh reached toward the sky, connected by cables that pulsed with neural activity. At the center was a massive brain, easily the size of a city, that glowed with malevolent intelligence. "That's it," Amy said. "The central intelligence that controls every bioship in the galaxy." Jake looked at the quantum charges his team had, brought from the ship. "Will these be enough?" "They'll have to be. But Jake, when we destroy that brain, every bioship in the galaxy will die, including any that might have peaceful intentions." Jake thought about the billions of people the Velkari had consumed. They made their choice 20 years ago. Now they live with the consequences. The ground assault team fought their way into the hive mind structure. The interior was a maze of organic corridors and chambers filled with defensive organisms. Human soldiers fell one by one as they pushed deeper into the complex. Finally, they reached the central chamber. The hive mind core was even more massive up close. A brain the size of a mountain that pulsed with the thoughts of every Velkari in the galaxy. As they approached, it spoke directly into their minds. "You cannot destroy us. We are eternal. We have consumed galaxies." "Not anymore," Jake said, activating the quantum charges. The explosion was visible from orbit. The hive mind core was destroyed in a flash of blue light that spread across the planet's surface. Immediately, every bioship in the galaxy began to die. They fell from the sky like dead insects, their organic hulls dissolving into nothing. Jake stood in the ruins of the hive mind chamber, watching the last of the Velkari die. The war was over. Humanity had won, But the cost had been terrible. Earth's population had been reduced by half. Entire colonies had been abandoned to support the war effort. The human fleet had lost over 2,000 ships and millions of crew. Members. Years later, Jake retired to a small farm on New Eden, a world reclaimed from the Valkyrie. He was joined by Lisa, who had survived the war, and Amy, who continued her research.